All right, good morning, dear students. Once again, this is Dr. Bharat. Today, we are going to talk about chapter 3, which focuses on the marketing environment, ethical behavior, and social responsibility, or also known as corporate social responsibility. So, first off, what is the concept of the marketing environment? Well, something just that we just touched upon in chapter 1. When you look at the external environment, these are factors which are basically beyond your control, which you have very little if any control over. So for example, the first step is to do the environmental scanning, which is also something we talked a little bit about in chapter 2, which is the SWOT analysis, right? You need to look at what is going on around you. You keep your ears and eyes open. Otherwise, if you operate in a vacuum, you might be making great money. You might be making great profit. You might have a very, you know, uh, you might have a lot of satisfied customers. You might have a very loyal set of customers. In fact, however, if you feel that you are in a very good place and you really do not need to change anything, you can just keep your ears and eyes closed and do what you're doing. One fine morning, you will find that your competitors have suddenly done something that you were not aware of, and all your existing customers have moved on, have basically moved to your competitors. So you will have no choice but to basically shut down. I mean, it has happened. I mean, think about Circuit City, which was the number 2 biggest electronics retailer in the US. I mean, why do you think they had to go bankrupt? I mean, again, they made some very silly mistakes, took some very, you know, decisions that did not make any sense at all, and that is what happened. And then they realized that they had become a non-viable business, and they had to down their shutters. So that is not what you want to happen. So that is why environmental scanning is very important. So you have to look at the social factors, what is happening to the people around you. There is, for example, change in the ethnicity. There is change in the distribution of the population. There is change in the sex ratio. More and more women are entering the workforce. For example, women are delaying their marriages. Women are delaying having children because they want to establish their careers, and all this is having an impact on the marketing aspect. All this is having an impact on the purchase behavior of individuals. Technology. Think about the environment, or the green, people becoming more conscious about having a green environment and having an effect on the footprints on the for the future of future generations. So that is why companies are becoming more and more aware of it. They are becoming more environmentally conscious, and they are trying to come up with products and services that are more environmental friendly. And customers also they are going the extra mile to purchase goods and services that have a smaller footprint on the environment. So you have to be aware of this. Okay. Then we have the competitive forces. What our competitors are doing, what kind of products they are offering in the market, what kind of prices they're charging the customers, what kind of services they are offering to our customers. So this is what you will have to be aware of. Economic forces, the labor market, the employment market, what is happening, whether there is inflation, whether there is what kind of jobs people are getting, what is the general mood in the economy. Are people optimistic about the economy? I mean, think about that. When the economy is in depression, people are kind of very pessimistic about what the future holds for them. People are not sure where their next paycheck is going to come from. So when that is the situation, then people typically become more conservative. They tighten their belts, so they are buying less. If you're buying less, then companies are making less money. If companies are making less money, that means they are making less profit. So how they are going to try to cut down on the expenses? How are companies going to cut down on the expenses? One of the first things they do is they lay off people. So when people get laid off, they further lose confidence in the economy, and they further lose confidence in their job and their ability to hold on to their job. So they further tighten their belt. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, right? I mean, people lose faith in the economy, they tighten their belts, companies make less money, they lay off people, people further lose confidence. So this keeps going on. So that is why it is very difficult to come out of this cycle, and so you should take some drastic steps to break this cycle, which is typically what the government's responsibility is. But as a company, you should be aware as to what is happening in the economy. And then finally, the regulatory forces, which has to do mainly with the government and the regulatory organizations. So when different countries, they take different steps to protect their own companies, to protect their own people. So that is why you have the tariffs, you have the different kind of quotas, and you try to restrict foreign imports, and you try to promote exports, so on and so forth. So these are the regulatory factors. You cannot there should also be regulation on what you are selling. For example, there are restrictions on sale of arms and ammunition to foreign countries or to countries that you do not have trade relations with, and you have some restrictions as to the export of software or proprietary knowledge. So these are the regulatory forces that we are talking about, and you should be aware of those. The next concept in this chapter is ethical behavior. What is ethical behavior? At a very basic level, ethical behavior has to do with what is right and what is wrong. The problem with that definition is that what may be right for you may not necessarily be what is right for me, right? So when you're working for a company, I mean, everybody has their own ways of defining what is right or wrong. But when you're working for a company, you cannot go by everybody's individual judgment, right? So there is a company philosophy as to what is right or what is wrong. So that is what ethics is about, right? That is what ethical behavior is about. You should follow the company's guidelines, and if you do something outside of this company's guidelines, there will be consequences. There may or may not be consequences, but if it is something really, really, extremely opposite to, or extremely different, counter to what the company believes is the right thing to do, then there will definitely be consequences. So that is what you will have to be aware of from a ethical behavior perspective. And finally, social responsibility in marketing. Well, you make money, right? Again, for a for-profit company, they exist to make money. But is that the end of the story? Well, think about it. You are making money off of the people in the society, right? Doesn't it also behoove some kind of responsibility on your part as an organization to give something back to the community? That is what societal responsibility is, right? You have some kind of responsibility towards the society, towards the people who help you make money, who help you being who you are today as an organization. So that is what social responsibility is. So again, doing something good for the society, providing some money for charity, doing something good, participating in responsible behavior, participating in ethical actions, not doing anything that is harmful to the environment, promoting environmentally friendly products. Again, think about the packaging that you recently see. Many of the companies, they are trying to come up with environmental friendly packaging, doing something good for the employees, providing healthcare, providing on-site childcare, so on and so forth. Google, for example, is one of the companies which has been over the years considered as one of the top companies to work for. Why? I mean, if you go to their website, you will find that Google employees, they are allowed to bring their pets to work. They have a free shuttle service within the Google complex, and they have gardens and fresh vegetables and fruits that are grown on the company premises, and their employees are free to take home with them. They have on-site laundry, they have on-site health care, they have free breakfast and lunch available to up to a certain level. So not every company is Google, but this is an example how the company is going out of its way to promote a healthy working environment and to provide a good working environment for its employees. What it does in the long run is that it improves productivity. It keeps its companies in good mood. When the employees are in good mood, they can be more productive, and overall, so it helps in the profitability of the company. So the thing about being socially responsible and the thing about corporate social responsibility is that you are here not just to make money, but also to think about the long-term effect your company has on the society. And typically research shows that companies who are socially responsible, they survive for much longer than companies who are not socially responsible, who are there just to make money. Okay, so those are some of the main topics in chapter 3. Okay, I will see you again in chapter 4. Thank you.